So a pie for all took victory in the first round of the Core V8 Supercars last time out in Madrid, but after not starting this afternoon's event, we're guaranteed a second different race winner of the series so far, as the cars head to Monza for the Monza Super Sprint. 3 9-lap races are in store for the drivers around one of the most famous and perhaps fastest circuits in the Core calendar this season. Good afternoon, welcome to Monza for the Monza Super Sprint, round 2 of the Core Australian V8 Supercar Championship. And joined alongside us today is Core veteran, commentary-wise that is, it is Mr. Adam Weller. Thank you very much for joining us today, Adam.
Yes, hello, welcome to the second round of the Core Australian V8 Supercars at the legendary Monza circuit, and I think that this track, with its tendency to create slipstreaming battles, will bring the best out of both the drivers and the cars here today at the second round.
Well, last time out then, we saw the two Pride TEC Motorsport Ford Mustangs dominate proceedings. Do you reckon that that the Pride TEC Motorsport Ford Mustangs will be on top again this afternoon, or do you think that we'll have some more drivers will in the mix this afternoon, Adam?
I think the fact that the cars are, well, that the track is like less complex, there aren't barriers surrounding the drivers all the time like it was in Madrid. I think that we will see more people in the hunt today. I think that today is really the first time where anyone could win the race, and obviously so many of these drivers aren't familiar to Core. For some of them it's their first time, it's their first series with Core, and I think this will be their first chance to really shine on a circuit that isn't quite so difficult.
Well, yes, it'll be interesting to see what happens during the course of this afternoon's race. We do, of course, have Memto joining us for this afternoon's race. He is the only driver taking part today in a Chevrolet Camaro. So is that a bold move, or do you reckon that might actually catch him out this afternoon?
I think it'll be interesting. I reckon that the Camaro will do well here at this track. He's qualified 5th, I believe, so I think it will be a bold move, but I think it's one that will pay off, and I'm sure that it will have a good setup ready as the race is underway, Luke.
Well, yeah, the race has got off to a lightning getaway. We've got our pack charging down towards the Retafilio chicane, this tight chicane for the very first time, and it appears it's Racing, of course, the championship coordinator, leading the way. A car off in the distance. Who is it? It's MTLA who's gone off, and Memto's also joined in there. So Memto in that Chevrolet Camaro, not having the best start then at all, as the cars come around and dive towards the Roger chicane for the first of 9 laps in the first race of the afternoon here today. It's Racing leading away from Glenhouse in second, Optimus 5 there in third position, Heidi in 4th, Santu 5th, Scotty 6th, Ben Crow in 7th, but it's again It's Racing dominating proceedings. He had a good run last time out, and again one of the Pride TEC Motorsport boys leading the race right from the word go, Adam.
Yep, a degree of deja vu here. I believe Memto89 was helped off track at one point. Ben Crow's also dropped through the field, and someone's off there. That's It's Racing. It's Racing has gone off on the exit of the second Lesmo.
And that's the two Pride TEC Motorsport boys off the racetrack on the first lap. They went literally from winning and dominating the race last time out to not having the best of start so far here this afternoon. So it'll be interesting to see how they recover from that. Meanwhile then, we've got Killing Heidi there in second position. He's trying to hunt down the race leader, who now is British driver Glenhouse 81, as they head down towards the Parabolica for the first time.
Yes, Glenhouse 81, of course, part of the Reaper Racing lineup that came second place at this year's Core Nürburgring 24 Hours. Killing Heidi there in second position had a massive dose of understeer in his Mercedes around Parabolica. Very well held to not put that into the grass or the gravel.
Well, yeah, there they all go then. Dive into the Retafilio chicane once more for the second time in this one. Glenhouse has pulled out 2 or 3 car lengths now. It's about 1.5 seconds, perhaps, that gap between first and second. So it'll be interesting to see how long that will take Killing Hardy to try and close up. Meanwhile, we've got the Pride TEC Motorsport machine of It's Racing. Pole sitter, he is now in the pit lane at the end of the first lap here, not being the best start for him at all. Meanwhile, Memto punted off in that first corner. He's now back up to 6th position and is challenging Scotty for 5th.
Indeed, Memto89 on the brakes. He's made a move for the position. No, he has not managed to take the position. In fact, he's lost one. MTLA through on his inside on the approach to the first Lesmo corner, takes it back. So MTLA making good progress after his early slip-up. However, his teammate, It's Racing, with that heavy front-end damage, unable to continue without a pit
in fact,
stop.
we've got 3 cars battling hard coming out the second Lesmo. At the moment, it's Scotty. He appears leading the way out of all these cars. We've got Scotty, Memto, and Santu is that in a bit. Oh no, apologies,
Santu
that
went
is
off
MTLA
between the 2 Lesmos.
in 4th, Scotty in 5th, Memto 89 in 6th position. So it's all about now who can get that run coming out the Ascari chicane and onto the main straight. But Memto's got the move stuck from Scotty. It leads him into 5th position as they head back down the back straight for the second time. A great move there then by Memto. Now then, that corner, not one that you usually see a pass made. However, Scotty is now right back on the back of Memto. Can he make the move stick? Heading into the Parabolica, moves to the outside. Can he get the cut back? Heading through the right-hander, but he can't quite make that one stick. And this is all allowed Adam, MTLA, to just move a few car lengths down the road and give himself some breathing space between himself and those 2 cars battling behind.
Indeed it has. It'll be interesting to see if he can maintain that advantage as Santu99 goes into the pit lane. He did go off between the 2 Lesmo corners, which allowed MTLA, Scotty and Memto to all move up the order, and it seems like he has also obtained some damage in the course of that last lap, so Santu99 will end up somewhere probably 2 or 3 seconds back from It's Racing. So a few drivers already having issues, but here we are with Memto and Scotty, and they're having a brilliant battle.
Yep, Scotty moving to the outside, heading down into the Roger chicane. Memto, he just outbrakes himself, heading through the first part of the chicane now. Has he gained some kind of advantage there? Will the stewards have something to say about it? He's moved down to try and defend his line. Scotty trying to find a way around the outside through the Lesmos, but do you think he'll be okay in terms of stewarding's concern there, Adam?
Yes, he will be. I'm pretty sure he lifted off there after the chicane on the approach to the first Lesmo, just to ensure he did not gain an unfair advantage, and now we have Scotty 86.46 right on his tail.
And this is where, of course, Memto made the move this time last time. So can Scotty, he's going for the same movement, down the inside, heading into that Ascari chicane. Memto just slightly wide on the exit. Has that allowed Scotty some advantage heading down that long straight? If anything, however, Memto's got a faster line through the corner because he's actually pulled a car length on Scotty, but has Scotty behind got the run down his main straight. Now then, interestingly, look at the front left-hand tyre on Memto's car. It is flashing red. Has he got perhaps some slight damage on the front end of that Chevrolet, Adam?
I believe so. I believe he might have made contact in the first turn on the first lap. I think he had contact which caused him to drop down the order, and I assume that the damage was picked up during that incident.
Well, yeah, so that could be a deciding factor in this battle for 5th position.
No.
Gives him a half look, tries to make him a bit nervous, tries to put some jitters in his pants there as they head through the first part of the chicane. Meanwhile, there is MTLA there in 4th position, trying to close up on Optimus Prime, who is there in 3rd position, driving for the Turismo Racing Lexus. So it will definitely be interesting to see this battle between these sides. That with MTLA there in 4th position actually is the highest placed Pride TEC Motorsport machine. Of course, we haven't got a pie for all racing in this race this weekend, so indeed it's only these 2 Pride TEC Motorsport boys. But as we say that, the Lexus there very sideways coming through the first Lesmo. In fact, he's lost it completely. Now, was there some contact there? Because it looked as if the 2 cars are very close together. It is. What is it? The Ford Mustang has gone out in front there in 3rd position. We've got Crime just behind them there in 4th in the Lexus. But definitely moving up the order now then is that Ford Mustang Pride TEC machine. What a move he pulled there going through the Lesmo. Just managed to make sure he stayed away from trouble. And it will be interesting to see whether these cars have actually obtained some kind of damage or tyre burnout because of that issue.
Well, MTLA is not displaying any damage on the graphics. I'm going to assume that he got out of that one without any. Whether or not he made contact with the red Lexus is really hard to tell due to the massive smoke screen that was taking place at the time. However, he has made it into 3rd position. He has gone past the pit lane, so I think we're right in assuming no damage. and the question is, will he or Killing Heidi be able to catch up with this man, Glenelg's 81, who currently has a commanding lead and a best lap of 1:49.215, which is some 5 to 6 seconds quicker than the Superstars V8 series that used cars of a similar nature until this year, or until 2014, which was the last season of the series. So these cars are properly quick.
Yeah, they are giving it their full beam so far around the Monza race circuit. God, we've got 3 races to treat you with this afternoon. Three 9-lap races across this Monza Super Sprint. So we've got some more action after this one to look forward to. In terms of that battle developing for second position, in fact, the 2 cars there lying in 3rd and 4th, which are MTLA and Crime, they're actually closing up now on Killing Heidi. So we could perhaps have a 3-way battle developing for second, and then if Memto gets to move on, he could join in the fun and games as well. But what a spectacular comeback so far from Memto. He got hit off round about that first corner incident with its racing. However, he did manage to find his way back up the grid, push himself back up to 5th position and back to where he qualified earlier on.
Yes, back into the position he started the race in. He qualified 5th, and MTLA is about to make a move for 2nd position on Killing Heidi into Parabolica. Not quite enough. Did not manage.
Not quite. Killing Heidi late braking there on the entrance, and he proper made sure he got his car stuck to that line. But he's going to get him on the exit, Adam. He pulls his car alongside, and that Ford Mustang Pride CEC Motorsport machine off into 2nd position. Now, what can he do about Glenelg's in front? Because that gap has increased across the course of this race, but with just under half the race still remaining, could MTLA do something about Glenelg's in front and try and grab another victory for the Pride CEC Motorsport team?
I mean, it's not impossible. It will be a very difficult task at this point in the race with this much of a gap between the two of them. I think you'd need to rely on a mistake from the Flying Scotsman here. Killing Heidi didn't actually manage to even line up a move there into the first chicane. I was quite surprised there. I thought he'd go in for a return move, an outbraking maneuver to get his 2nd place back. However, he did not manage that, which means he's now got to keep his eyes on his mirrors, of course, with Optimus Prime behind him.
Yeah, definitely. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that battle. With still 3 or so laps to go in this one. Scotty there currently lying in 6th position. Now Memto has actually started to pull away from Scotty, so he's trying to close the gap towards the battle out front between the leading drivers. There is Killing Heidi there still in 3rd position, trying to hunt down MTLA, who just got past 1 lap ago, but he definitely seems to be dropping back, and if he's not careful, he could soon have Crime, who is just behind him, just about what 1 to 2 seconds behind him, right behind him, with still 2 to 2.5 laps to go in this race. So there is definitely still time for some moves to be made. So then let's just go through then the current order for you. Glenelg's currently leading the way for the Reaper Racing machine and his Mercedes-Benz C63 machine. He's definitely dominated proceedings so far, but with still 2 races to go here this afternoon, he still has time to be caught by those challengers behind him. 2nd position for MTLA and the Pride TC Motorsport 4 Mustang Shelby. 3rd position currently being held by this man, Killing Heidi, one of the 2 races this season in the Odds Race at Australia going. Funny enough, the 2nd of the Mercedes machines in the top 3, the other Mercedes being driven by Glenelg and the Reaper Racing machine. So the Mercedes definitely dominated proceedings so far. Crime is there in 4th position, Memto there in 5th, Scotty currently lying in 6th position, and then those 2 cars who have fallen into issues during the first race. It's Racing there in 7th position, who had some problems around the Lesmos just a few laps ago, and then of course Santi, who hasn't really been able to find his feet right from the word go.
No, he is not. He's on screen now. He's actually the first ever Indian driver to join Core, and of course the Core Australian V8 Supercars series is intended to expand Core's horizons, open ourselves up to new markets and different time zones. And I think the fact that we have such a strong array of drivers from around the world, of course many Australians, which is the key target audience for the Australian V8 Supercars Championship, but to also see the likes of Santu making their Core debuts thanks to this series is very good.
Yep, so it'll be interesting to see how Core kind of grows with the old different markets over time, because of course being established within the UK, then it very much was tailored to a UK market. However, going to Australia, then it really does sort of get people involved from all sorts of places around the Australian region, plus of course heading into places such as India, the Philippines and such. So it will be interesting to see how that market grows over the course of this season. Meanwhile, there was Memto there in 5th position. He did fight back from a contact right at the beginning of the race that put him down to 8th, but he's there still in 5th position. Now he's a bit far behind really to challenge the top 4, but still 5th position based on the contact he did suffer, plus of course the damage, Adam, on that front left tyre. Then it's definitely a good fight back, and some solid points actually there for Memto to really good and hold it and consolidate that position moving into the 2 remaining races so far this afternoon.
Yeah, one thing I'll point out though, he's definitely closed up on this red Lexus Optimus Prime. He has definitely closed up on this driver, and I'm not sure if he'll make the move with just under 2 laps to go. I don't think he'll be close enough. However, by the time they've crossed the line to take the checkered flag, he will be within striking distance. I'm sure that the American will be watching his mirrors intently.
Yep, so that is definitely a good battle that will develop with with only 1.5 to 2 laps to go. Does he have time really to catch up and make a move? Because closing up is one thing, but getting past is definitely quite another, especially around a circuit that definitely is predominantly straight line speed rather than going on hard braking zone. So it will be interesting to see what happens with that battle. And meanwhile, Santi, who we were just discussing a second ago, has pulled back into the pit lane. So do you reckon he'll be heading back out onto the circuit, or do you reckon he's just retiring the car for this race a tad earlier to get ready for race 2 this afternoon?
He's just exited the pits now, so there's your answer. He was coming back out on track to see the checkered flag. Good on him.
Well, yeah, it's definitely good then for drivers to go out and show their sporting behaviour by going out there and grabbing the race and going on finishing the race that they indeed started. So Santi wanting to go out and grab the checkered flag. But meanwhile, one man who is about to see the checkered flag is this guy, Reaper Racing's Glenn Owls, who is coming round the Curve Grande now and heading down to the Rogers chicane. Of course, he took part in the Nürburgring 24 hours just a month ago this weekend, but he's come back in spectacular fashion. He had a strong outing last time out in Madrid, but couldn't displace the Pride TC Motorsports machine. But today he seemed absolutely on fire. He's dominated proceeding, pulled out a gap over his nearest rival today, and also killing Heidi behind him. So it definitely shows that Glenn Out is one to watch throughout the course of this afternoon's racing.
And another one to watch, the man on screen now, It's Racing, setting the fastest lap of the race by quite some margin. And, well, the start of race 2 obviously closes everyone back up again. A fresh start, a new race. And I do think we're going to see It's Racing in contention for the victory in race 2 and indeed race 3.
Yes, well, of course, he did run into some difficulties very early on this afternoon. So heading back now and resetting a course for the 2nd and 3rd races, then it will definitely be interesting to see what he can do heading over to the final 2 races so far this afternoon. Memto is still in 5th position, so he's had quite a fairly decent run of things so far during this race to really catch up the time lost earlier on. But meanwhile, there is a race winner for the first race of the afternoon in the 2nd round of the Core Australian V8 Supercars. Glenn Owls goes or takes the victory even in the first race of the day. Coming across the line in 2nd, it is MTLA for the Pride TC Motorsport boys. A fantastic result for him. Oh, It's Racing has made a move on Scotty. You're down at the Parabolica. It pushes Scotty slightly wide, but definitely a clean move there. 3rd position, sorry, is killing Heidi. Oh no, he didn't make... now, was that a clean move? Because Scotty coming out the Parabolica sideways in plumes of smoke. Was there perhaps some slight contact, Adam?
I don't think there was contact. I think that he tried to turn in for his normal line and found out that there was a Ford Mustang going up his inside, and I think that will be considered a clean move. As you say, killing Heidi, rounding out the top 3, followed by Optimus Prime and Memto 89, It's Racing, Scotty 86, 46 and Santu a lap down, rounding out the order. We are about to hop straight into race 2, so not much time to take a rest here, but this is going to be a brilliant second race, I reckon.
Who do you reckon will be on top for this one? It's definitely between It's Racing, in my opinion, and Glenhouse for the second race. But of course, you can't write out those cars behind who have shown such good form so far. But who's your pick for this one then, Adam?
Ask me after the first chicane. I do believe it's a combination of the standing start and the first chicane here at Monza, the Rettifilio. I do believe that anything could happen at the start, and it's a matter of who can survive the start. However, if all goes well for him, I do believe It's Racing will be the one to watch.
And of course, he got hit off throughout the first lap in the first race. Can he keep it clean this time around? Yes, it was actually. He went off towards the Lesmos. That was Memto, who I was thinking of, who had that contact. But of course, you can't write out Memto either, because he had a fantastic race coming back from that contact to finish in 5th position. So you can't write him out either in that Chevrolet Camaro. Right, heading over now to the second race of the afternoon. We've got 3 races to look forward to in this one. 3 9-lap races this afternoon. It was Glenhouse who was victorious in the first race of the weekend. Now, however, who will be victorious in the second race of the weekend? On pole position, we have, once my screen clears and I can see it, yeah, so it's done on the finishing order of the last race, but it's lights out and away we go. Glenhouse with a fairly decent start, but saying that, here comes MTLA heading down the inside as they dive into the Rettifilio chicane for the first time. Can he perhaps make the move stick? And who will make contact heading into that first chicane for the first time? Glenhouse, it appears, has just held on to it, pushes MTLA slightly sideways, a bit of an oversteer there, it appears, from the Pride TEC Motorsport machine, but saying that, he is still there going through the Curvo Grande, and in fact he managed to get past, but can he hold that line heading into the Roger chicane? Yet he is through the Pride TEC Lexus into the lead, heading down into the Roger chicane, Adam.
That was very impressive after MTLA had that.
Oh, he's off! Glenhouse takes the lead. MTLA's gone off and he's caused chaos behind his back. Did he almost push his teammate off there, it appeared, as they came out the chicane? Meanwhile, we've got Killing Heidi into second, and look, that man again, don't count him off, it's Memto 89 in 3rd position. Could he be a challenger, Adam?
Oh, he's always going to be a challenger in any car he steps into, in any race he chooses to enter. And on this occasion, it does seem as though he's going for the win. He wants to get past Killing Heidi and chase Glenhouse 81, who of course was his teammate in Concrete Climax in WEC.
Meanwhile, there is It's Racing already into second, but he's run wide at the Ascari chicane. He's lost all his momentum again, Adam. Again, one of his mistakes has caused his race to falter and straight back down into 8th position.
However, this time he will not have damage, so he will not have to make a pit stop. So hopefully he can recover and get himself back into the action. MTLA, once again, we have 2 of the Pride TEC cars right at the back of the field, although MTLA makes the move there for 6th position. I believe that's on Ben Crow. So MTLA into 6th place and looking for 5th place already. So making swift progress after his mistake. I'm fairly sure he's angry with himself behind the wheel of that Mustang.
Well, definitely. We saw, of course, in the first race that the 2 Pride TEC Motorsport boys, they were actually towards the back of the field, but in all fairness to MTLA, did manage to bring himself back up the field, so he could perhaps actually do the same in this race. So he is now back up to 5th position. He's passed Scotty there, and now he chases after Santi, who had so many difficulties in the first race. He is currently lying in 4th position, so a great showing there by the Indian driver, but can they catch up and perhaps even challenge the 3 leaders? It is currently Glenhouse leading the way. Of course, he won the first race. He's leading a second here so far. Killing Heidi in second. Memto there in 3rd position. He's a WEC seasoned veteran. Can he perhaps hold on to a decent podium finish in this race? But of course, being the curse of the commentator, something will perhaps happen to Memto in a few minutes' time. Meanwhile, we have MTLA there in 4th position. 5th position at the moment for Santu. Oh, actually, Santu, is that Santu sideways?
Well, what that was It's Racing making his way past Ben Crow, and that was a bit of a dodgy manoeuvre. I'm not so sure about that. Memto 89 goes off at the Ascari chicane there. Too much power, I think, on the paint,
He's been hit.
He has gone into the wall. He's been hit, so...
He has been hit, and in fact, who is that? He was hit by Santu, because Santu's got considerable damage on that left-hand side. Memtu's car has absolutely had it, so to say. His car is in a pile of heat there at the back of the circuit. In fact, he's trying to get it back towards the pit lane to get the repairs needed to continue in this one, but that car definitely not looking good so far. But if he gets back to the pit lane and gets some repairs, then he could actually perhaps try and grab a faster lap point or something. So it's definitely not yet completely finished for them. So meanwhile, we got...
must have been caught out in this as well, because he's in the pit lane, so it can't have just been Santu who was involved in that one, because MTLA is in the pit lane. However, Santu and Memto in particular have cars bent like bananas. However,
Glenhouse. That Glenhouse.
No, that's Scotty. That's Scotty. 46.
Sorry, they've got the same sort of colour scheme on their machines, but Scotty there in 4th position, which means it's Racing, who was at the back of the field just a lap ago, is now they're back in 3rd position. So it definitely shows that even if you make one mistake but then keep it clean, then you can make the positions back up based on people's mistakes throughout the course of the race.
Indeed you can, so anything can still happen. This is only the 3rd lap of the race. So much has already happened in these opening 2 laps. Monza circuit always provides good touring car racing, and this is no different.
Well, Killing Heidi and Glenhouse, they must have had, or now have, such a considerable margin, because they're the only 2 drivers who have managed to keep their nose clean throughout the course of this race. So those 2 drivers must absolutely be dominating proceedings so far. In fact, there they go through the Escaria chicane and down the back straight. Meanwhile, Memto is coming down pit lane, so he will actually go 1, or if not 2, laps down by the time his mechanics have sorted out his damage.
Indeed, a very bad start for Memto89, his first weekend competitively racing in the core Australian V8 Supercars as a wild card. Doesn't look to be going too well for him. However, Killing Heidi, 2nd position. Of course, we saw this last time as well, manages to stay out of trouble and therefore gets into a podium position. We've seen this now 2 races in a row, so I think this is one of the keys to lasting in a core Australian V8 Supercars race: survival skills.
Well, definitely just make sure that you're the one circuit there, the one car that's still remaining without damage, and you might actually have quite a good race. But meanwhile, there is Killing Heidi in 2nd position. He is actually quite a way behind now, so it definitely shows that that he has definitely tuned up that Mercedes to really take on the circuit, and definitely looks the fastest drivers throughout the course of today. Could he perhaps take a clean sweep and try and grab 3 wins so far today, Adam?
You know, it's a possibility, but we're only halfway through race 2 and anything can happen yet. He's less than 5 seconds clear of Killing Heidi, so anything could still happen. I believe this is Memto89 providing the smoke on both of the Lesmos there. A very stiff setup on his Camaro, I think, because there is a lot of smoke coming from that car pretty much every time I see it on screen.
Yeah, so there's definitely something not right there with Memto. Now, will he actually move out the way fairly sort of quickly for Killing Heidi, or will it actually cause some difficulties for him?
To be honest, in the last race, I believe Killing Heidi's lap time was about 2.5 seconds slower than that of Memto89 in terms of personal bests, and therefore Memto should be able to get away from him. With that being said, Memto is actually now, well, hasn't actually gained anything over Killing Heidi, and if Killing Heidi gets much closer, especially if he has a slipstream down this main straight, he is going to have to yield eventually to the Australian driver in the Mercedes, and this is what he's doing now. Pulls off to the inside into the, well, before the first chicane, the Rettifilio, and Killing Heidi up to 2nd on track. Of course, 2nd position already, but Memto89 staying out of the way, which I think is a good move.
Well, yeah, so Killing Heidi straight back up then into 2nd position. Meanwhile, there is It's Racing in 3rd position now, and that gap is actually quite, or has closed up based on the last few laps. So could perhaps It's Racing in that Pride TEC Motorsport machine get himself into a top 2 finish. Now, these Pride TEC Motorsport boys, they're always there with the leaders. Even if they're having an off day, they manage to find themselves a room and get back up there and really challenge the front running positions. And it seems that It's Racing could challenge for a top 2 this afternoon.
Indeed, perhaps we should refer to them as the Triple Eight of the core V8 Supercars Championship. Of course, Triple Eight, one of the more successful outfits of V8 Supercars history in Australia, both with Holden and Ford machinery. So they've gone either side of the fence in terms of the age-old battle between General Motors' Holden brand and the Ford company. And in this case, I think that It's Racing are definitely the standout team so far in our V8 Supercar Championship. However, this weekend, Reaper Racing have definitely thrown themselves into the mix with just one driver.
Well, yes, they're definitely worth seeing what the Pride TEC Motorsport crew can do throughout the course of 2015. The season, of course, takes into some historic circuits throughout the year. We've got the endurance side of things taking place later on during the year, towards autumn. We've got tracks like Monaco, Bathurst and Spa, so they're definitely circuits which we're all looking forward to seeing. Meanwhile, there is It's Racing right up behind Memto, and then just in front of him is Killing Heidi. So that battle now for second is definitely well and truly on. In fact, there was a fastest lap of the race from It's Racing last time around, like a 1 minute 48.295. He is definitely on fire. 2.5 seconds the gap between second and third.
Yes, not quite as fast as he was in the last race with that 148.295. He did break into the 147s in that first race, but I think he still has plenty of time to make that 147 lap time. And on another note, he is chasing down Killing Heidi, but Memto 89 is sandwiched between the two of them, and I think Killing Heidi now will be grateful for the fact that Memto 89 let Killing Heidi through, because now there's a cushion in the shape of a Chevrolet Camaro between the two drivers.
Well, definitely, so that could perhaps prove the difference. There being that driver cushion there, then it will still take, of course, It's Racing some time to not only get past Memto, but then close right up behind Killing Heidi. So that could be an interesting battle with only 2.5 to 3 laps to go in this one this afternoon here at the Monza Super Sprint Round 2 of the core Australian V8 Supercar Championship. Meanwhile, coming across the finish line now with only 2 laps to go, it is Glenhouse. He looks on top form so far today. Victor, of course, in the first race, and is on form to take his second win so far this weekend for Reaper Racing. Meanwhile, the battle for second well and truly on. In fact, now Memto has moved
Yeah.
because we've got the battle now. They are on second. They're coming through shot now. There's Killing Heidi in second. There is It's Racing in third. Let battle commence.
Yep, Memto 89 allowed It's Racing through between the Ascari chicane and Parabolica, which is very much showing the red rag to the bull for It's Racing. He's now going to chase down Killing Heidi and try and get that second position before this race is over.
Do you think he'll do it?
Yes, I do think he's going to make the move before the end of this race.
Well, here we go through the Lesmos. Who's going to have the advantage? In terms of this circuit, predominantly based on straight line speed, of course, It's Racing with the Ford Mustang, while Killing Heidi is in a Mercedes. So who in terms has the advantage based on straight line speed, which is what Monza is very much all about?
Well, they're all very equally balanced. However, from what I have seen in this race, it does seem as though the Mustang can get perhaps 1 or 2 miles per hour extra, perhaps running some lower downforce setup, a bit less wing on the back of that Mustang.
Yep, so perhaps the Ford Mustang will have the advantage heading down into the final 2 laps of the race as Glenhouse now goes on to his penultimate lap this afternoon. Meanwhile, as It's Racing goes through the Parabolica, oh, a lot of smoke there coming from Killing Heidi. Now then, is this It's Racing's chance to get a slipstream down the main straight and challenge into that first chicane, Retafilio chicane, introduced, of course, was it in 2001? So it's been there for quite a while now, but he seems to be too far behind Killing Heidi to be able to make that move stick, but of course he's still got time to line him up at the same place next time around.
Yes, of course, the track alterations to Monza, they do seem as if they've been there forever, but they are actually quite recent, just as young as the new Hockenheim configuration, which obviously was changed in 2002 to lock away the forest section. So it's actually amazing how much track alteration has gone on in the 21st century. I think we just tend to forget some of it. Of course, Spa was also altered heavily during the 2006 season, which meant there was no Belgian Grand Prix that year. But yes, this was amazing. It's amazing to see just how much has happened over the course of this century when you look back at it.
Well, you can't beat the old Hockenheim for fun. Blasting through that forest section, definitely worth looking at. But meanwhile, it's racing is alongside. He's going down the back straight. Can he find a move stick? He's going down the bridge, but of course, Killing Heidi will have the inside line heading down into this guy's chicane. No, he won't, because it's racing is pulled across. He's made the move stick even before they get to this guy's chicane. But who Adam will have the run heading down the back straight towards Parabolica.
Well, it's racing has already pulled a massive gap to Killing Heidi, and the Mustangs are running 1.2 seconds faster than anything else on track. The Camaro is 2 seconds off the pace, even with Memto 89 behind the wheel. So it seems as though maybe the setups of some of these cars have really found a little bit extra, perhaps in the speccing process. So maybe, just maybe, we're going to have to see some BOP alterations between now and the next round.
Well, yes, be definitely interesting to see what's happened there. They've done a Mercedes and turned up with cars that are absolutely performance, what's the word? Just absolutely gone there and absolutely dominating the rest of the field. But saying this, Reaper Racing has done a Ferrari so far and actually been able to take the race pace with them, and is out there leading the way for Reaper Racing with the Mercedes, who currently leads the way. Second place for It's Racing, third for Killing Heidi, fourth for MTLA, fifth for Scotty, sixth for Santu, seventh for Ben Crow. But meanwhile, Memto, who looked strong very early on today, is there in 8th position, down back in the pit lane. So there's obviously some more issues there for him.
Not a good race for Memto 89. Not a good round for Memto 89, as Santu there was off track on the exit the Lesmo. I believe he has heavy damage. That car looks to be going very slowly. It remains to be seen whether or not Memto 89 can regroup for this third race. He only has one more chance left, and the question is, can he take the challenge to his old CCR teammate Glenel's 81? Can he fight the Pride TEC boys? And indeed, what will happen in this third race in general? Will anyone be able to stop Glenel's 81, who only has a Parabolica between him and a second victory of the day?
Well, an interesting point to make before he takes the checker flag is looking at the tyre degradation. It seems the Mercedes uses their tyres less than Killing Heidi has, so perhaps that might be a difference between Glenel's driving style and Killing Heidi's driving style. But as he crosses the line, Glenel's takes victory in the second race of the afternoon. It's two wins from 2 races here in the Monza Supercars. Second across the line for It's Racing and the Pride TEC machine. Third place for Killing Heidi, also Villa Mercedes, but for the Oz Racer Australia camp. And then coming across the line, or coming out the Parabolica to cross the line in 4th position, the second Pride TEC Motorsports car, it is MTLA, who will take 4th position, followed by Scotty in 5th. Scotty, of course, taking place for, let me just find his name on the list, there we go, for the Turismo racing team. 6th position for Ben Crow, 7th position for Memto, and 8th position, of course, for Santu in this one, the first Indian driver in a core race. So congratulations to him for coming out with a finish in that one.
Yeah, actually he lost 7th place right towards the end there. He was 7th position, but Memto 89 caught him. Obviously, I think heavy damage for Santu there on that second to last lap, or the last lap of his race. So, and yes, Santu in the pits there, so obviously having to repair some damage, losing that 7th place to Memto 89. Well, however, I do think that in this third race we are going to see a shake-up. I somehow doubt that Glenel's 81 is going to go unchallenged in race 3. I think the drivers have seen enough of the track now to know exactly where they're best, where they can capitalise on their car's strengths, and also they've probably dialed out the mistakes at this point. And also, it does look to be getting a little bit overcast. So can rain play a factor?
That will definitely be interesting to see if rain does play a factor. Who do you think will actually have the advantage then if it does rain? Will the rain favour one car and one car and one setup more than another?
Well, we're about to find out. The sun shines back out for the start of race 3, so perhaps our speculation is
perhaps the rain won't come out.
Not justified, no. But Glenelg's 81 off. Good start from him. Also a good start from It's Racing. Killing Heidi. Average start from him. Who's going to have the lead into the first corner? I do believe Glenelg's 81 will. Yes, he does. It's Racing smartly there, seeing that he didn't quite have enough room for his Mustang. Keeps second position though, Killing Heidi trying to get a run on the approach to the second chicane, not doing so. Round Curva Grande, it does seem to be as you were. I don't think any positions changed there, apart from Memto 89, who is back up to 5th.
Yeah, so they come down now towards the Roger chicane for the first time. Glenelg's leading the way, second for It's Racing there for Killing Heidi. Memto has got past. Scotty has just absolutely binned his car down there at the Roger chicane, so heavy damage on the first lap, and of course to finish first you must finish, but that's not the policy for Scotty. He's absolutely destroyed that machine heading down into the Roger chicane, so can he make it back and perhaps make the repairs needed? But of course he will be half a lap behind the remainder of the field, who appears to have actually made it round the first half a lap without impact.
Yes indeed, and I think it's important to note that Glenelg's 81 not as far away from the rest of the field this time. Oh no, there's 3 cars right behind him, all vying for that lead. We have It's Racing, Killing Heidi and MTLA all there right on the back of the black Mercedes bumper.
Yes, it's a very interesting battle to keep your eye on. There is It's Racing in second position. Oh, and there is MTLA down the inside heading through the parabolic. He pushes Killing Heidi out wide. These two have had a few battles so far today, but so far it's MTLA who have come out on top. Killing Heidi there in the Mercedes in 4th position in the Oz Racer Australia camp. Will he be able to make a move, however, heading down towards the Retafilio chicane? He moves to the left-hand side. Can he manage to outbreak the Fire TC Motorsport machine? The answer to that one is no, but can he get the cutback? Because actually, MTLA quite deep for the first section. Oh, and Killing Heidi very sideways coming out the Retafilio chicane, and now he's got Memto right behind him, the wild card for this afternoon's race. Could he perhaps move himself into the top 4?
It's very conceivable indeed. It does look as though he has a stronger car at the moment. Glenelg's 81.
Oh, Glenelg's wide.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was contact there with It's Racing. I don't know whether he was punted a tad, but I actually think that was straight out braking. So either way,
It's Racing going sideways to the Lesmo, and MTLA is going to make the move. Oh my God, the two teammates side by side. There's no team orders going on here. These drivers are both vying out and battling hard to try and grab a second position here and chase after Glenelg's. But surely wouldn't it be more sensible for them to work together and try and stop Glenelg's winning his 3rd race of the day?
Sensible, yes, but I'm not on the Pride TEC pit wall, and therefore I think this is absolutely brilliant to see 2 of the most talented drivers in this field battling it out.
Well, yeah, it will be definitely very interesting to see who comes out on top in this one. Meanwhile, the battle for 4th is still raging between Killing Heidi and Memto, but the battle for 2nd is definitely getting very close as MTLA heads into the parabolica. He's got his teammate It's Racing all over the back of him. 2 Australian drivers going hell for leather so far in this one, but this has just allowed Glenelg's to pull out that margin that he is so used to throughout the course of today's racing so far, with that gap about 2 seconds between the leaders and then the chasing pack behind them. Well, yeah, we just got a nice sound then of these V8 machines heading through the Retafilio chicane. Meanwhile, we're hearing that we've got some damage there for It's Racing, so we might actually have some moves being made because of this. Killing Heidi not too far behind, so he perhaps might be able to get up behind the Pride TEC Motorsport machine, which means that battle for second appears to be just about finished, because if its racing has got damaged, then his teammate will be able to move off into the distance.
Something I just quickly want to note there, Santu929 did seem to have far too much speed coming out that second chicane. I do believe that might have been a degree of corner cutting. The stewards might want to look at that one, because he did seem to be barreling through there about 50 miles per hour too fast and taking no notice of the second part of that chicane.
Well, he's closed up now to the back of Memto, so...
Yes.
So perhaps that did actually lead to some kind of advantage. So the battle's still developing here. In fact, the lead has actually just dropped back a bit, because now here is the Pride TEC machine of MTLA closing up the gap to Glenhouse. We definitely got then a battle for the lead developing between these two top drivers within the series around one of the world's fastest racing circuits.
Indeed, it's very good to see this happening. I've always liked Monza. It's always seemed to have made good races throughout Core and WEC, and indeed here at the Core Australian V8s as well, and always will be one of my favourite tracks. Slipstream battles all the way through the race.
Well, yes, another thing then to quickly point out for you in this one, we've got the top 6 near enough together on circuit. So it's between Glenhouse, MTLA, It's Racing, Killing Heidi, Memto and Santi. One of these drivers will become victorious in the third race of the afternoon. Santi perhaps not so, because he has that corner cutting, so perhaps stewarding might come into play, but Memto is still there, but so is Killing Heidi out front. But one thing's for sure, Glenhouse will not let cars past him, whether he's battling for first, whether he's battling for fourth. He is a hard racer, and he will make sure that he keeps those two Pride TEC machines behind him for as long as possible.
Indeed, Glenhouse, a very hard charger, a very experienced driver, very good racecraft, all round one of the best drivers we have the honour of witnessing here in Core, and today has been a stellar example of what he can do when he's on form. The question is, will he be able to make it 3 from 3? Not if MTLA has anything to say about it, and the same applies to his Pride TEC teammate, It's Racing, who is actually a very proficient speedway racer in real life as well, racing a wingless sprint car with a 200 horsepower V6 engine under the bonnet.
Yep, so that's definitely good to see him taking part in real life motorsport, but he's also dominating or trying to get on terms with Glenhouse in this one during this afternoon's race. We've still got 4 or 5 laps to go in this one as we hit the halfway point here in Monza, the final race of the day. Glenhouse.
I believe MTLA might be able to line him up for this one, because he had a bad run off the corner, did Glenhouse 81.
He got a bit sideways, didn't he?
Yes, and MTLA also had a very good line through that chicane to get the optimum speed coming out of it, and he is making a run. I don't think he's going to be able to do it on the brake. Surely not.
No, Glenhouse just manages to keep it. It's a very risky move there, because the corner's quite tight. You definitely don't want to risk a move that could...
Glenhouse lost more time there on every exit on this lap. He's made bad mistakes, and this second one has allowed MTLA through. MTLA into the lead for now, but can Glenhouse make his way back through?
Well, he could perhaps find his way back through as they head down this, or down the hill towards the Ascari chicane. Meanwhile, the sole remaining Pride TEC machine there, with It's Racing there in 3rd position, so he's actually dropped back behind those 2 leaders out front, so it definitely appears to be a 2-way battle for victory here. But we've seen that MTLA has the pace to really close up on Glenhouse, so could he perhaps take the 3rd victory of the afternoon and really pull away? But Glenhouse will be just so determined to try and grab 3 race wins in one day here, that he'll be trying to get past that Pride TEC machine as quick as he can.
Well, he's in a Pride TEC sandwich, isn't he, with MTLA in the lead, It's Racing in 3rd, but he'll still want to get that 3 from 3 record. 1 appearance at 1 race weekend, races 1, 3. that would be a very nice little statistic for him to have. 3 from 3 on his first weekend of Australian V8 action, and remains to be seen whether he's going to be able to get past MTLA once more. But at this stage, it looks as if MTLA is getting away from him just a little bit, and maybe Pride TEC will at least get one victory on this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. So Pride TEC look good on course to continue their form that they held in Madrid and try and grab at least one win so far this weekend. In terms of the updates for the championship, you can keep fully on top of core, not only our V8 Supercars championship, but also our whole host of motorsport taking place throughout the course of 2015 via the Facebook page Core Online Racing, via the website www.coreonlineracing.wix.com/core. We've also got ourselves the threads available on GT Planet, where you can hear the latest news and views from the series throughout the course of the season, of course, with our full calendar on there as well, and what events take place throughout the year. Meanwhile, there's Killing Heidi in 4th position now, trying to close up to the damaged Pride TEC machine of It's Racing, who is just down the road. So we could perhaps have a battle for 3rd between It's Racing, Killing Heidi plus Mento developing in just a few laps time.
Indeed, and one thing I'll just note quickly, we missed one social media outlet, which is of course our Twitter @CoreOnlineRace, so do shoot us a follow there. And just a correction, we have a new URL for our website, so it's www.coreonlineracing.com.
We lost the wit.
Yes, we did. So an easier URL to remember, and do be sure to have a look at our website.
Well, definitely. I know there's some good profiles of me and you on there, so that's definitely worth checking out. So if you want to find a bit more about myself and Adam, then go ahead and check the website www.coreonlineracing.com. Anyway, back to the action on circuit. Santi was in the pit lane, so he's obviously sustained some more contact out there on circuit. Scotty down there in 8th, Ben Crow in 6th position, but the battle developing on circuit is still between these leaders. MTLA has got track position, but Glenhouse perhaps now starting to close back up to the Pride TEC Lexus.
Yes, Pride TEC Ford. I do think that Glenhouse is pretty much stagnating at this point. I don't think the gap has increased terribly much, maybe by about half a second to a second over the course of the last 2 laps. And to be honest, I think this is MTLA's to lose at this point.
He just set the fastest lap last time around at 1 minute 48.938. In fact, last time around that was actually 1.2 seconds slower than Glenhouse. That gap now up to 2 seconds between those leaders. So it definitely appears that Pride TEC Ford dialed in during this 3rd race, and it seems victory is destined to land to them this afternoon, unless Glenhouse can find something with only 2 laps to go here, Adam.
Yeah, definitely. I think this one is pretty much going to stay as it is. I do think the top 3 is going to remain, unless Killing Heidi can do something about It's Racing, because he's not a million miles away. There you see on camera, and Mento 89, they're all within about 5 to 6 seconds. So if one of the drivers makes a slip up, brief off on the exit of a corner or something similar, we could see the final podium position change. So keep your eyes on this. Anything can happen in the last 1.5 laps.
Well, yeah, of course, you do have there It's Racing with the damage, and he's trying to fend off a fast charging Killy Heidi in the Oz Racer Australia Mercedes. So that is perhaps the battle to watch for on circuit. Also Mento, he's not too far behind, so he'll want to try and grab a podium on his first weekend, the Core V8 Supercar Racing. So he is definitely one to watch in this one. There is Ben Crow. Now then, we haven't actually discussed Ben Crow much during today's broadcast. He is currently lying there in 6th position. He's had actually quite a fairly quiet day today. He hasn't been involved in sort of the battles. He hasn't been involved in the crashes. He just had a sort of fairly slow day so far in that Razor Racing BMW M3. Meanwhile, we've got Santu there in 7th, Scotty in 8th, and be interesting to see what they can do towards the closing stages of this race.
Yes, indeed, and Ben Crowe, as you were saying, he's had a pretty quiet affair this weekend relative to last weekend when he was in and out of the pits quite a lot. Scotty 86.46 there, having a small off at Parabolica. I believe he probably outbraked himself. In fact, I don't think he did that alone. The state of the car at the moment, the fact that it's weaving so much, makes me wonder if he was helped there, or whether at least hit a barrier, because that car is not in one piece at this moment in time. But back to Ben Crowe, it's worth noting he is the youngest driver in the field at the moment, 15 going on 16 later this year.
Well, yeah, so it's definitely good then to see him doing so well based on such a young age. He is the Max Verstappen of the Core BH Supercars this season. Meanwhile, there is our race leaders out front. Glenhouse, despite winning the first 2 races of the day, he has been unable to grab victory in this one. It seems destined, unless there is a mistake on this closing lap, that MTLA and the Pride TEC Motorsport boys in the Ford Mustang will hold on to victory in the 3rd race of the afternoon. Killing Heidi hasn't given up his battle with its racing.
Oh, he's spun, look at this!
In fact, he's spun going through the left line. Where's Memto? Memto will get a 4th. Killing ID has damaged his tyres slightly. Now, where is Ben Crowe? Will he be able to find a way through? No, actually, he's quite a way behind. Look, he's just going through Curva Grande now, so he won't be able to do that. But Memto 89 grabbing a 4th position, of course, the wild card for this afternoon's race. He's got to be happy with that.
Yeah, one thing I'll note though, Killing Heidi there hit the pause button as he was going back onto the track. Now, I don't know if it's always an illegal procedure or whether it's just to avoid damage, but as far as I know, that's not allowed in Core Online Racing's regulations, so perhaps that might be one for the stewards to look at as well. Just flicking through my regulation handbook, indeed he should not have done that, so he might feel the wrath of the stewards. But MTLA crosses the line to take the victory. Glenhouse 81, 2nd place, denied his 3 out of 3 score here at Monza. And Pride TEC managing to get at least 1 victory with MTLA 1984, and It's Racing rounding out the podium in 3rd. Memto 89 coming home 4th place after taking that position on the last lap, with Killing Heidi making that mistake on the first Lesmo. However, Killing Heidi did manage to get back out on track in time to secure 5th place. Ben Crowe here, just going towards Parabolica, will finish 6th, with Santu 929 just behind him, and Scotty 86.46 rounding out the order.
You have a regulation handbook?
Well, yes, as such, I have one on I have the regulation list on my screen at all times in a Word document. But I do believe it will just be a first offence, so I don't think he's going to get penalised for that.
Now, will Scotty be able to finish his last lap here? Because he's still recorded as doing 1 lap to go. No, he won't, because he was actually lapped, wasn't he, from the...
Well, actually, in all the other races, the lap drivers have managed to finish, so he will be able to finish his race eventually. So, in the meantime, Luke, let me ask you this. Who's been your standout driver in today's race?
Driver of the day. Oh, it's going to be a hard one. Memto's done well, because he had the issue, he managed to fight his way back, plus it's his first weekend of racing, but it's also MTLA's first weekend of racing, so the fact that he managed to grab a victory, definitely interesting to grab himself that victory. However, Glenhouse has been dominant, however, because he was there at Madrid, that I can't give it to him, so I'm going to have to give my driver of the day to Memto 89. How about yourself, Adam?
Well, Memto 89 did okay. I mean, he's done many better performances in Core. I don't think he got 1 podium, actually, over the course of these 3 races. For me, Glenhouse has to take it. So my driver of the day is Glenhouse, purely because he was so close to taking the 3 from 3. And he was on the podium on all 3 occasions. And I think that's more than enough to validate the driver of the race.
Well, definitely. It was a very dominant display for Glenhouse this afternoon in Monza, as he takes 2 victories for Reefer Racing, plus a podium finish. But the Pride TC Motorsports machine didn't go away completely empty-handed as they managed to grab a victory in a final race of the day. Thank you very much for watching this broadcast of the second round of the Core V8 Supercars Championship. Make sure you tune in, of course, next time out for the rest of this enthralling plus exciting Core V8 Supercar Championship. Thank you very much to yourself, Adam, for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Next time out, we hit California for the Super Sprint. Another one, 3 times 14 lap races at the Mazda Laguna Seca Raceway. And I think these cars, tracks. Yeah, one of my favourite tracks again. And with these cars, I do think that's going to be one of the best races of the entire season.
Well, yes, thank you very much for watching. But until next time, goodbye for now.